Greetings, Algo Artisans. It's Cowboy Monday, 8:30 AM EST, and we're now live. Yep, the grill is probably going to come in pretty quickly. I know he's up and about. I imagine he'll jump in here very quick. Interesting weekend. Had some interesting conversations. Went ahead and did Orthodox Easter. I'm not terribly religious, but that's something that my in-laws and some other members of my family practice, and I don't really see a problem with it. I think it's good stuff. So anyway, we had a big fat party, massive freaking spread. In fact, if you go over to my X account over on X, you'll be able to see the spread. I put the spread out, man. We made some food, dude. 2 different kinds of lamb. We had tri-tip. We had ribs. I had to throw in the Italian component of pasta. Just you name it, it was there. I was so full, I don't need to eat for another week. So, but I love it, man. Family, fun. Took the weekend off, didn't do any videos, and I will be back to 6 videos a week, provided there are no interruptions. So that will be back to normal as far as the kind of 10-15 minute videos that I do every day, usually showcasing a coin or talking about something, so on and so forth. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and jump right into the charts after my introduction of my little weekend story there. Give me a moment to zoom in. I was actually chatting in spaces right before this happened. I was in a space last night, and I found that a lot of those same people were talking when I woke up. It's a freaking marathon space. I get the feeling a lot of them were asleep because that's a long time to be on spaces. But I went ahead and rejoined and had some stimulating conversation. And there's going to be a fair amount of time on spaces coming up, by the way, folks. We're going to see the Cowboy on spaces, and via the grill as well. That's part of the conversations we had over the weekend. We're doing some things, people. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Bitcoin could have a quick move down here. I don't know at this point whether or not the bottom is in. It may well be in. The sort of post-halving bottom that may well be in. We might not see price go any lower than we saw it go. I think it was 56,000. We'll take a quick look here. Let me zoom out. Yeah, that was 56.5 ish. So let's zoom out to the daily chart. Yeah, it might just be that we see a quick rejection right now, because you can see prices. It looks like a giant bull flag. This is with Bitcoin. I tend not to trust bull flags all the time. There are some algorithms that are made to look like bull flags, but this one actually looks like a realistic flag. So this may continue down, but we'll see if it actually breaks any further down than this bottom right here. So let me zoom in so we can actually illustrate this a little bit. And then we'll start to look at some liquidity as well. All right, so now just a reminder, we do this show free to the public for anybody to come in, ask questions. You can ask for charts, and you can say, hey, I want to see whatever stocks, you name it, right? Could be just looking at the SP 500, whatever it is. If you have questions, this Algo Factory is going to get a bit of a bigger audience coming up. We've just been kind of slowly rolling it out over the past year. And we have some marketing coming up. So there might be a time where you actually have to pay for questions with super chats or something along those lines. But for now, the general public can ask questions. Right. So what we're looking at, though, possibly is a move down to 53,000 just by the look of the chart. Not 53. Is that? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's possible. But again, that bottom at 56, it might be that price won't make it past there. And in fact, the current move down actually could stop and create this kind of a higher low and head back up. And if it does, this is on the daily chart, basically. It's the 18-hour chart. So if price comes down to, I'd say, just by looking at it, just without looking at any of the liquidity or anything, if it kind of comes to 60,000 and bounces upwards with conviction, there's a decent chance price is just going to continue up from there and not make its way down to 53,000, right? But if it did break below 56, then of course that's 53, and that's all based on price action. So let's get a little bit more data than that. Let me get a new liquidity map here, and we'll see where the liquidity nodes lie. The liquidity nodes to the downside, there's some of it near price, so price could creep down into the low 60s, but the highest amount of liquidity close by is around 57,000. A lot of people are long, and so their liquidations are in that level, right? So I'd say about 57,500 is a decent area where price could break down to. Let's see, 57.5. So that's way up here. And that's pretty close to where, I thought price might reject to the upside. So if price were to make it down to that area, it might be that this or something close to it is the higher low at which price moves up. And that can happen even sooner. That could happen as quickly as maybe like 58.8. So 58.8 could function as that new higher low. It just really depends on whether or not, first of all, the charts even call for a move down, right? Because that does have to happen first. And then whether or not that move down is satisfied by grabbing liquidity like this, and whether or not that liquidity still exists at that time. Because this liquidity map that we're looking at over on the Kingfisher.io, that is a constantly changing thing, right? So this is all based on people's trades, in this case on Binance, but it's all based on their trades on the leverage exchanges, right? So that liquidity map changes minute by minute, really, technically, but more like hour by hour. So that said, though, that's kind of what we're looking at. I do think, though, the price is likely to move down, like I said, to this at least the 60,000. If you look at the price action here, you can see that 60,000 was well defended. If you go back to 13th of April and the 16th and the 18th, right? And obviously it's a psychological number, and you have more than that. It was defended pretty decently back in March, and it did reject off of 59 back in earlier March than that. So there's a lot of evidence to suggest that Bitcoin could bounce at 60,000 or some number close to it. So, could happen sooner. Might not even make it that far. You have a lot of rejections that are just hanging out kind of in the low, like the 62. So we'll see what happens. But right now, most likely, I think is this right now. But I wouldn't necessarily trade based on that. I'd want to see what the algos tell me. I'd want to look at the charts to see whether or not a move down is warranted. But this is just, kind of it's a scenario among many scenarios that I think is quite possible. So we do have V the Gorilla in the house. How are you, sir?
Oh, good morning, man. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. We're just talking about Bitcoin, what may happen to it. I've
Mhm.
my most likely scenario among many likely scenarios is a move down to about 60,000 and then possibly rejection to the upside. But price could also head back down to 53. It's just a question of whether or not the market's going to allow Bitcoin to go lower than 60,000. And I don't know if you want to put your opinion now or if you want to put your opinion in the private group when we started.
We'll take that to private.
Okay. Yeah. See, here's the thing, people that people don't understand. V the Gorilla does a lot of deals around the world, internationally, helping people buy Bitcoin and precious metals. And we're talking about people with a lot of money. And when you're people with a lot of money, you're going to have some of the best minds, looking at the charts and stuff like that. So he gets information that is unparalleled. He gets information from pretty high on up. And quite frankly, just looking at the charts right now, we could be seeing the beginning of a breakout as well. Remember, I mentioned that this does kind of look like a bull flag. Technically, it really looks exactly like a bull flag, like a textbook one of the ones that kind of shape downwards. And if there were to be a breakout, now would be the time. If it didn't reject back down, because you're looking at price just kind of. Let me move this properly. Price is floating around at the top here. So if price actually broke out to the upside, let me take a quick look at volatility. Give me a second. Let's get the computer to catch up. Yeah, volatility slipping downwards. It's possible that it could break out, but I would not long this though right now. My algos do not allow me to go long on this, but it could break out. But again, I'm going to go with probably move down to low 60,000s and then a bounce up. And that's right now my most likely. And as price approaches that area, I'll reevaluate and I'll see if that's what I want to theorize. So that does bring us to the end of the live lab. V, before I kick us out of here and into the private, is there anything you want to say out to everybody in YouTube and Xland and Rumble and everywhere else?
Yes, I love all of you.
Oh, I feel so special.
Yes. No, listen, guys. Honestly speaking, listen. Follow us over at the Live Lab. It's so worth you coming in and checking us out. Valuable intel, actionable intel that actually means something. So that's only available on the private lab. Join us for less than $1.66 a day, for less than the price of a bottle of water. You can be part of the most prolific trading group on God's green earth. We not only teach you how to trade, we teach you how to build the very algorithms that trade on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With that being said, Cowboy, take us away.